Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
And welcome to the Temple Pride Shabbat. I want to thank everyone that is participating. Special thanks to those who have special readings, to the committee that organized that, Chava Penner and Bonnie McCullough, and Ted Flyshaker and Benji Berlow, to Sarah Harlan, who has baked for the third time a special rainbow challah. I don't know if we can actually see the challah. It's huge dough. It's right here. And special thanks to Aaron Goldenshoe, who actually founded that temple tradition, which we're now doing for the 7th time to have a Pride Shabbat. We begin our service singing together Hinei Matov.
One day the words coming out will sound strange.
Oppression based on gender and orientation will be a loving memory, history to honor and remember.
The pain of hiding, repressing, denying, honoring the triumphs of those who fought to be free, remembering the violence and vitriol that cost lives.
When love wins at long last. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Will be as natural as breathing.
One day, love will win every heart, love will win every soul.
Fear will vanish like smoke, and tenderness for all will fill our hearts.
Love wins. In the end, love wins.
Man for man, woman for woman.
Woman for man, man for woman.
All genders, all orientations, all true expressions of heart.
Let this come speedily, in our day. A tribute to the many and the diverse, gifts from heaven.
A tribute to love deep and true.
Each of us for one another.
And if you're here in person, we turn to page 1 in the handouts. And I would like to invite Brian and Alex to be our first readers.
Shekhinah, whose name is love, God who created us in your image, we thank you today for the pride and strength you have given us to live our lives, each of us in our own way, as equal members of our community and of society.
We honor the memory of pioneers who challenged receiving wisdom and demanded their right to renew the ultimate and sanctified anew. Lesbians and gay men, bisexual and transgender people brought together like the blessings of the rainbow, countless ways to understand and realize your counsel. It is not good for a human to be alone.
As we sought to live our life faithful to the nature you implanted in us, those who profane your name, claiming that they hate in your name of God, rose up to humiliate and criminalize us, to brutalize us and erase us. In your great mercy, you stood with us in our time of trouble and gave us the courage to stand together, to open our eyes and the eyes of the world around us, to see that all your creations deserve the freedom and the right to love. Today, too, strengthen us that we might witness and create wonders, be who we are and love whom we love, not in the shade but in the light of life, that we might live as Jews in the embrace of community, sanctifying our unions and celebrating before each other and before you.
The stone that the builders rejected has become a cornerstone, and we never know the shame. Let us say,
Amen.
Amen. We turn to page 172 in the prayer books to sing together Matovu. If you're here and you don't have a service, they are around the pews so you can walk around and find a service. And we rise as we turn to page 195 for the Berlow.
Sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes, more welcome than gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning. My Torah, my special human gift, is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeems the sun from darkness.
Baruch Ata Adonai Yotzer HaMeorot. And we turn to Kate Davidson for the next reading.
This is our truth.
The one God calls forth being from nothingness and makes all things one. Blessed is the Holy One of Israel, in whose oneness we are one. But we are not yet one in fact. Our human race is broken into fragments, and we have yet to know a lasting unity. Blessed is the time to come when all will at last be one. While intolerance rules the earth, redemption will not come. Let the day be near when trust will rule this world. Until people return from their exile from each other, redemption will not come. Let all exile be ended, our exile from one another, the exile of God's presence from our lives. Let our hearts be moved by the pain of others, and let us begin the tasks that await us.
And we turn to page 200 for the calling of the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam
ואהבת, please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוך בך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be upon your heart, shall be upon your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
I would like to invite Ted and Ivan to do the next reading on page 2.
You just got Ted because Ivan had to go to work? Our people came out of Egypt, a mixed multitude, the spray of dividing waters, sparkling diamonds all around them. We stood together at Sinai, all of us, future, present, past, amid the rumble of thunder and the crack of bright lightning, to enter into the covenant with the one who loves us, in whose shining image we are all created, over and over again. We have wandered bleak landscapes, built flimsy tents of skins and then houses of stone. We have planted orchards and vineyards. We have seen 2 temples rise and then go down in surging flames, forcing us into exile. We have loved and we have lost, grieved and danced, transgressed and celebrated, hidden, suffered, thrived. And we gather here this day in the community of our people, a mixed multitude, and we sing out, "Hear, O Israel, we stand together, all of us, descendants of the single first human created on the 6th day, and of our myriad parents down through the generations, too numerous to name. We stand together, link arms, and we pray. Blessed are you, God of the universe, who sanctified us with the commandment to love ourselves and one another in all our varied ways, and blesses us with a diamond bright radiance that still ripples out from your first spoken words of creation."
Rise for the Tefillah on page 205. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. And we now have Barbara Meyerson-Katz to read us the English translation.
Source of all being, we turn to you, source of all being. We turn to you as did our people in ancient days. They beheld you in the heavens, they felt you in their hearts, they sought you in their lives. Their quest is ours. Help us to see the wonder of being. Give us the courage to search for truth. Teach us the path to a better life. So shall we, by our lives and our labors, bring nearer the world we envision. one of justice, freedom, and peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah.
For coming out. I praise you, source of life, who said, Lech lecha, to our ancestors Abraham and Sarah. Go forth, go to yourself, go find yourself. And they left their home, the only world they knew, to begin again in a new land, in a new way. God of creation, who renews your work each day, be with me now as I step out into the world in my own new way. God of revelation, be with me as I affirm that I will move proudly through life as the strong, loving, wise, beautiful person you made me to be. God of redemption, in coming out today in community, I fulfill the command you gave our ancestors, Lech lecha, go forth, go to yourself, go find yourself. And so I have for life and health, for joy and blessing. And together in celebration, let us all say, Amen.
Amen. And we turn to the Kedusha on page 208.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאיך, ויקרא זה ואומר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני ציון, מלוך על הארץ כבודו, אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. דקדו אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. תשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הגדול.
Please be seated.
Go ahead and move the mic towards you.
On holiness. We are your gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and queer children.
You must not seek vengeance, nor bear a grudge against the children of your people.
We are your bi, trans, lesbian, and gay parents.
Revere your mother and your father, each one of you.
We are elderly lesbians, bisexuals, gay men, and transgender people.
You shall rise before the aged and show deference to the old.
We are the stranger.
You must not oppress the stranger. You shall love the stranger as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
We are lesbian, gay, trans, pansexual, and bi Jews.
You must not go about slandering your kin.
We are your trans, gay, bi, and lesbian siblings.
You shall not hate your brother or sister in your heart.
We are lesbian, gay, trans, and bi victims of hate crimes and murder.
You may not stand by idly when your neighbor's blood is being shed.
We are your bi, gay, trans, queer, and lesbian neighbors.
You must not oppress your neighbor. You must judge your neighbor justly. You shall love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Like to invite the Derby City Sisters for the reading on page 4.
Okay. Hello, I'm Devlin Side, Sister Devlin Side of the Derby City Sisters. We're the local chapter of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. We've been around since the late 70s. If you don't know who we are, we started in San Francisco. We're now an international organization. Our mission is to promulgate joy and expiate stigmatic guilt. And we do that through advocacy, education, and celebration. Okay. Exotic fruit. Sometimes we are called fruit people. And while it is meant as an insult, we take it as a blessing in disguise. A recognition of the sweet breath of God's creation. And we take it as an opportunity to open up to the sweet and the tart in all of us. May we honor strange fruit that is ripe with the possibility of miracles. May we recognize that there is more than just one way to be fruitful and multiply. Before we taste, we hesitate and remember the fear and hostility many feel when faced with something they think is strange, different, or forbidden. May we be open to the miracle and bring to taste the sweet fruits born of the seeds of liberation planted by our gay and lesbian forefathers.
Amen. We turn to page 216. Jules, would you be our next reader, please?
O God, may we never become complacent, faltering in our effort to build a world of peace. Let the nations know and understand that justice and right are better than dominion and conquest. May all come to see that it is not by might nor by power, but by your Spirit that life prevails. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Israel bez shalom.
We turn now to page 253 to find the words of the Misha Berach, the prayer for healing and courage and strength in our lives, the life of everyone that is dear to us.
Mikor Abraham li sing and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
Turn now to page 244 for Seder Kriyat HaTorah LeShabbat, for the order of reading from the Torah on Shabbat. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Our God is one, Adonai is great, holy is God's name.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Leka Adonai Hagidul, Hagivura, Hatiferet, Hanitzach, Hahod. Ki kol bashamayim uvaretz, Ki kol bashamayim uvaretz. Leka Adonai hamamlacha, Hamid nasi lichol lirosh.
As we turn to page 250 for the blessings for reading from the Torah, I would like to invite Rabbi Rachel Pass to lead us with blessing the Torah, reading from the Torah and interpreting it. Rabbi Pass, Rachel Pass, chose Numbers chapter 17, beginning with verse 16 as the portion that she will read and interpret. Please, Rabbi.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu im kol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe Lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael, vayikach mitam mate leveda, ואת כל נשיאיהם לבית אבותם 12 מטות איש את שמו תכתוב על מטהו ואת שם אהרון תכתוב על מטה לוי כי מטך לראש חתן והנחתם באוהל מועד לפני העדות אשר יבאר לכם שמה והיה האיש אשר קרבו מטה יפרח והיה שיקוטים אלי את תלונות בני ישראל אשר הם אלימים עליכם וידבר משה על בני ישראל ויתנו אליו כל נשיאיהם מטה ונשיא אחד מטה לנשיא אחד לבית אבותם 12 מטות ומטה אהרון בתוך מטותם וינח משה את המטות לפני אדוני באוהל העדות ויהי ממחרת ויבוא משה אל האוהל העדות והנה פרח מטה אהרון לבית לוי ויוצא פרח ויצא ציץ ויגמול שקדים ויוצא משה את כל המטות מלפני אדוני על כל בני ישראל ויראו ויקחו איש מטהו. I'm just going to pull up the English before I do the closing blessing. And God spoke to Moses saying, that was the wrong version of when God spoke to Moses saying. Where did it go? On the computer. And God spoke to Moses saying, speak to the Israelite people and take from them, from the chieftains of their ancestral houses, 1 staff for each chieftain of an ancestral house, 12 staffs in all. Inscribe each man's name on his staff, there being 1 staff for each head of an ancestral house. Also inscribe Aaron's name on the staff of Levi. Deposit them in the tent of meeting before the pact where I meet with you. The staff of the man whom I choose shall sprout, and I will rid myself of the incessant mutterings of the Israelites against you. Moses spoke thus to the Israelites. Their chieftains gave him a staff for each chieftain of an ancestral house, 12 staffs in all. Among these staffs was that of Aaron. Moses deposited the staffs before Adonai in the tent of the pact. The next day, Moses entered the tent of the pact, and wow, there the staff of Aaron, the house of Levi, had sprouted. It had brought forth sprouts, produced blossoms, and bore almonds. Moses then brought out all of the staffs from before Adonai to all the Israelites. Each identified and recovered his staff. Adonai said to Moses, put Aaron's staff back before the pact, to be kept as a lesson to rebels, so that their mutterings against me may cease, lest they die. Thus Moses did, just as the Lord had commanded, so he did. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Are we putting the Torah back before I go, or should I just drash?
You should just drash. We're not putting the Torah back.
Excellent. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and Chag Pride Sameach. One of the most magical things about studying Torah is that not only is it allowed, but it is expected that we reread each story, each parsha, creatively. This year, reading Parshat Korach, I offer a creative reading, a midrash in the theme of pride, on Korach's rebellion and the flowering of Aaron's staff in response to it that I just read. Here is my midrash. Korach always knew that he was different. Even as a young child, he hated the expectations put upon him by his wandering Israelite society. He was pulled out of his mother's house at a young age to do what all the other young boys did: learn, train, march, follow their fathers. He hated being separated from his sisters,
From the softness they were allowed to express, and therefore the softness he was allowed to express with them. He loved the fullness of their emotions, the frankness of their speech, the wild flowers they collected and crowned upon their heads. All Korach wanted was to flower with them, weave crowns on all their heads, march alongside them. Why was he the only one with access to their father? Why were they only allowed access to their mother? It's not that Korach didn't love his father. He loved and enjoyed play marching behind him. But he saw the world holy, holy, and he wanted to live within all of it. As Korach grew, he learned to conform. He followed his father's footsteps until he fathered footsteps of his own. He led his clan as expected and kept himself separate from his wife and daughters, allowing only his sons to follow him. His only rebellion was his name. Korach, son of Yitzhar, son of Kahat, son of Levi, a reference to the line of fathers he was forced to follow. The wandering grew long, time passed on. The world around him shifted ever so slightly forward, progress happening slowly. A day came finally when Korach awoke to see his aging body snuggled by his youngest granddaughter. He looked at her strong body, her hardened face, the flowers tangled in her hair, the echo of tear streaks down her cheeks. He felt his softness sprout within him. She awoke and explained that her mother had caught her kissing another soft, flowery-haired girl and sent her out of their tent. She had sought refuge in her grandfather's arms, a hardened man with softness behind his eyes. And so Korach knew his path forward. He marched, always followed, to the tent that housed God, that housed Moses, that housed law, that housed all the expectations and none of the exceptions. And he shouted with only pride in his voice, Rav lachem ki kol ha'edah kulam kadoshim. You have gone too far, for every single member of this community is holy. His heart pounded. Every one of us is holy, each one kadosh. Kodesh, holiness, is within each of us, within all of us. And so earth, recognizing the holy truth within Korach's heart, opened her mouth and brought him wholly home. Moses, the defender of the law, saw this truth and feared its consequences. He proclaimed the earth's swallowing was punishment, and that more punishment was to come. He had each tribe bring forth a staff carved with their name for a magical context to prove the hardness of the wood, the rightness of his world. Aaron came forth from the house of Levi, representing the tribe born into holiness, the people born Kadoshim. In the morning, Moses found 11 wooden staves solid as the earth beneath his feet. But Aaron's had flowered. Moses brought Aaron's flowering staff out before the entire community, and Vayotze Ferach Vayatzitz Tzitz Vayigmol Shkedim. Before their very eyes it flowered, it blossomed, it bore almonds. From within the earth he flowered, he blossomed, he bore. Our commentators ask, why Vayigmol Shkedim? Why does it say, and it bore, and he bore almonds? Both Rashi and Ibn Ezra relate Vayigmol, and it bore, to Vayigamal, to a child who is weaned, one who leaves the established order of their world to set out on their own. Ibn Ezra then relates Shkedim, almonds, to Shoked, the one who watches over, a person protected by the divine. But I see the letters of almond, of Shkedim, Shaked, Shin Kuf Dalet, and rearrange them to read Kuf Daled Shin. Kadosh, Kadoshim, the holy ones. In his flowering, in his blossoming, he bore holiness. The Levites, B'nai Levi, were born into their flowering holiness. And Korach, son of Yitzhar, son of Kahat, son of Levi, was born proudly that holy way too. Moses placed the eternally divinely flowering staff before the Ark of the Pact, a reminder of the holiness of flowering, of blossoming into one's divine self. The rainbow made by the flowers, the protection of the almonds and the holiness within, the joyous blessing of a staff-turned tree. These are our inheritance. Of these we are proud. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for wonderful reading and this amazing interpretation and teaching and commentary and rewriting the Torah and the Midrash for your life and our lives. Thank you for sharing, Rabbi Pass, and enjoy your stay in London. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, as we turn to page 5 and ask Lauren Costin to read at the top of the page. Amen. And I would ask now Laurie McConnell to read to us Queer Aleinu.
Let us praise the ruler of the universe and adore the creator of the world, who did not make us like other nations, who created us different from other people and set us on a separate path toward a special destiny. Sometimes we may feel excluded because we are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer identified, Jewish, women, old, young, disabled. We conceal the unique attributes with which we are created in God's image. May God strengthen our inner resolve to honor and fulfill our unique purpose, to live out God's wonderful and unknowable design, in which each one of us is a vital participant. Therefore, we bow in reverence before the Supreme Ruler, the Holy One, who is to be blessed.
I would like to invite Sidi Rosenberg to read to us on top of page 6 for queer elders, as we are getting ready to read the names of LGBTQ victims of hate crimes.
Blessed are the elders who parted the seas of ignorance and prejudice, sacrificed sanity and security on the rock of steadfastness, conquered demons of hatred and false idols of bigotry, Follow their hearts to a promised land beyond a dim horizon. Blessed are the elders with namesakes or without, whose energy and courage created a legacy of hope, making space for the children of today and sweet justice for children yet unborn. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death.
And I would like to invite now Lisa and Kelly to read to us the names of LGBTQ victims of hate crimes that passed just this year.
Scott DeVore, Scotland Kelly DeVore, 51, a white gender non-conforming person in March. Ashley Moore, 26, a black trans woman, April 1st. Selena Reyes Hernandez, 37, a Latina trans woman, May 31st. Brian Egypt Powers, 43, a black trans man, June 13. Brayla Stone, 17, a black trans teenage girl, June 25th. Mercy Mack, 22, a black trans woman, June 30th. Shockey Peters, 32, a black trans woman, July 1st. Bree Black, 27, a black trans woman, July 3rd. Summer Taylor, 24, a white non-binary person, July 4th. Jose Isaias Escobar Menendez, 24, a Latino gay man, July 8th. Marilyn Cazares, 22, a Latina trans woman, July 2020. Dior H. Ova Tiffany Harris, a black trans woman, July 26th. Keisha D. Hardy, 22, a black trans woman, July 27th. Asia. Asia Raquel Brown Spears, 32, a black trans woman, July 28th. Leah Rayshon Day, 28, a black trans woman, August 30th. Key Sam, 24, a black trans woman, August 12th. Jonathan Breeding, 23, a queer man, August 17th. Arian Burnett, 37, a black trans woman, September 19th. Messiah Berkeley, 20, a black queer man, September 7th. Mia Green, 29, a black trans woman, September 28th. Michelin Ramos Vargas, 33, a Latina trans woman, September 30th. Felicia Harris, 33, a black trans woman, October 3rd. Brooklyn Deshuna, 20, a black trans woman, October 7th. Sarah Blackwood, 39, a white trans woman, October 11th. Angel Unique, 25, a black trans woman, October 25th. Skylar Heath, 20, a black trans woman, November 4th. Fendi Moneza Peaches Armstrong, 39, a black trans woman, November 20th. Unieski Carrie Herrera, 39, a Latina trans woman, November 17th. Asia Janae Foster, 22, a black trans woman, November 20th. Kaimishia Sims, 30, a black trans woman, November 23rd. Kimberly Fial, 55, a white trans woman, November 22nd. Jahane Barbie Pugh, 19, a black gender non-conforming teenager, December 13th. Courtney Eshe Key, 25, a black trans woman, December 25th. Alexandria Winchester, 24, a Latina trans woman, December 26th. Bonnier Bonnie Black, 18, a black trans teenage girl, December 31st. Tayana Daveria Alexander, 28, a black trans woman, January 6th.
Samuel Edmund Damian Buenton, 21, a Latino trans man, January 9th. Bianca Muffin Banks, 30, a Black trans woman, January 17th. Dominique Jackson, 30, a Black trans woman, January 25th. 50 Bands, 21, a Black trans woman, January 28th. Alexis Kimmy Icon Braxton, 45, a Black trans woman, February 4th. China Carrillo, 24, a Latina trans woman, February 18th. Siblings, Jeffrey J.J. Bright, 16, a trans teenage boy of color, and Jasmine Kennedy, 22, a non-binary person of color, February 22nd. Jenna Franks, 34, a white trans woman, February 24th. Kim Tova Works, 43, an Asian trans woman, February 26th. Diamond Curie Sanders, 23, a Black trans woman, March 3rd. Rayana Pardo, 26, a Latina trans woman, March 17th. Adalyn Evans, 24, a Black trans woman, March 18th. Jada Peterson, 29, a Black trans woman, April 4th. Dominique Lucius, 26, a Black trans woman, April 8th. Remy Fennell, 28, a Black trans woman, April 15th. Nichelle Thomas, 52, a Black queer woman, April 21st. Tierra Banks, 24, a Black trans woman, April 21st. Natalia Smut, 24, a Black and Puerto Rican trans woman, April 23rd. Iris Santos, 22, a Latina trans woman, April 23rd. Tiffany Thomas, 38, a Black trans woman, April 24th. Carrie Washington, 49, a Black trans woman, May 1st. Yahira DeAlto, 42, a trans woman of color, May 2nd. Thomas Harden, 35, a Black trans woman, May 2nd. Whispering Windbear Spirit, 41, an Indigenous non-binary person, May 4th. Sophie Vasquez, 36, a Latina trans woman, May 4th. Danica Danny Henson, 31, a Black trans woman and gender fluid, May 4th. Serenity Hollis, 24, a Black trans woman, May 8th. Oliver Ollie Taylor, 17, a white trans teenage boy, May 19th. Oliver Jackson, go.
21, a trans man, May 26th. Kevin Trouth died from AIDS in 1994, and the 49 victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting 5 years ago.
We remember on this Shabbat members and friends of our congregation that have passed at this time in years past. John A. D'Angelo, Shirley Tanches-Therese, Harry Zukoff, Marvin Goldstein, George Price, Oscar Baron Wartenberg, Peggy Greenwald, Mary Greenwald, Dini Atlas, Sybil Parnes, Ruth Levitt, Friedman, Sidney Schneider, Milton Goodman, Irene Cantor, Thelma Jones, Louis Bergwerk, Thomas Lipton, Fanny Lerman Zachariah, Wilhelmina Johanna, Maria Van Wyck, Libby Simons, Edward Ornstein, Bertha Newman, William Bledsoe, Alan Samuel, Theodore Siegel, Edward Cahill, Robert Levine, Charles Weisberg, Ann Weston, Caroline Wartime, Mary Nyber, Edward Levy, Samuel Franklin, Alexander O'Brien, Bernard Weiskopf, Phil Brodnecks, Maud Louise Effernan, Michael Hayes Effernan, Abraham Bogoslavsky, Elaine Inoxiporin, Najla Aswad, Lonnie Falk. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. With the blessed memories in our hearts, we rise as we turn to page 294 for the Mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. זיכרונם לברכה, may the memory of our loved ones and of all the victims of hate crimes will come to be a blessing and a benediction to us all. Amen. Our closing song is For Everyone Born.
Create work to speak out, to witness and worship. For everyone won the right to be free. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy, justice and joy.
Our God and God of our ancestors, wellspring of our lives, cause us to flow with courage, strength, and compassion, to live our stories openly, proudly, and joyfully. Presence of love, you embrace us with your love. May we embrace ourselves, our partners, our lovers, our friends, our children, our dear ones, with the power of your unending, boundless love. Spirit of peace and wholeness, open our eyes to the gift of blessings we offer and receive from one another. Open our hearts to welcome each other fully and truly. Open our hands to embrace, to support, to lift each other with joy, with song, with peace, and deep friendship. On this Shabbat, as we celebrate renewal, pride, and community, let us walk together with strength, compassion, and love. We bless you, Adonai our God. May you fill us with joy and sanctity. And let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, and we have a special video to share that you're all invited to watch, and we're also going to share the rainbow challah. I'm not going to eat it all by myself.
Hi, I'm Ted Flyshaker.
And I'm Ivan Howard. My name is Aaron Goldenshoe. Hi, I'm Alex Shapiro.
Hi, my name is Kelly.
Hi, my name is Lisa Graves.
And we're husband and husband. On a really good day, anyway.
And asking me questions off camera is my fiance, Brian Kidman.
Hi! And we're supposed to tell a little about our first experience with the temple. Well, I grew up there because my grandma Fanny was always a member of Berlow, and my other grandma, Grandma Gertrude, and her husband were members of Adat Israel. So I kind of am a product of a merger. Yes, you are.
My very first experience was when I came to my first service, and people just knocked themselves out to have me sit with them, and that was impressive.
I've been a part of the temple for as long as I can remember. My family has been involved my whole life.
When I began attending services at the temple, I was so impressed by the warmth and hospitality the temple community offers. All of the rabbis embraced me and encouraged me to continue my seeking and my searching in Judaism.
Of course, Lisa's Jewish and I'm not, but like I've said many times, is that it's my spiritual family there at the temple, and they just welcomed me just as much as they welcomed her.
Your father brought me there the first time and introduced me to Judaism in a temple, which I'd never experienced before, and that started me down the road to conversion.
Seems to have worked out, huh?
As time went on, my relationship with Rabbi David and the other rabbis deepened my faith and deepened my experience of what it means to be a person who is committed to Tikkun Olam, a person who celebrates community, and I'm so very grateful for that.
And the first memory that I really clearly have was graduating from kindergarten at the religious school, and they gave us those little paper plastic Torah scrolls, and I used to, really ironically thinking about it now, read them in the closet, trying to follow along and understand the stories.
Nobody knew I was gay. It was not really an issue, but people were just so overwhelmingly friendly there, and that was my first experience.
When I think about how I found myself on the road to coming out, one of the most important figures that was there was Rabbi Nadia Zaritsky, who was a rabbi at the temple about 10 years ago. And she encouraged me to find my independence and to realize that I could write my own story. And through that action, I found who I was, and I found that I was queer, and I was Jewish, and I was proud of both of those things.
Kelly and I got married when it first became legal in Indiana. I said, let's go out and get married that very day because, you know, I'm sure they would close the window, which they did. So we ran out at 8 o'clock in the morning in our nicest clothes and got married at the courthouse. And I told Rabbi Gelia, and she said, oh, would you all come and light the candles, you know, candles and kiddush? I said, sure, that's okay. And I didn't really think anything about it. And so we get there and we did the candles and kiddush, and then Rabbi Gelia says, and by the way, Lisa and Kelly got married, you know, legally, and the entire congregation broke out in applause. And I'm not talking just nice little claps, and some people stood up and they hooted and hollered and everything. Some of these people we didn't even know. I've never experienced support like that and love like that in a religion, in any community ever in my life.
Pride at the temple means that I do not have to check my identity at the door, that I no longer have to deny who I am because of religious prescriptions.
We're treated like normal couples, but we're not normal. We're normal. We're normal and crazy. But anyway,
we're just accepted as who we are. We're another family who joined the congregation, and I just really appreciate that.
I am a queer person, and at the temple, I can bring my whole self.
I mean, Rabbi David knocks himself out. He is more supportive than any gay person I've ever met.
The temple is not a place that will love you in spite of what your story is. The temple's a place that will love you because of your story, and that's a really beautiful thing.
The Pride Parade being marching with the Torah around around there. The first time I did that, I was cracking up seriously because I just thought, this is really kind of funny and a little bit uncomfortable.